Hello, I'm going to show you a game I played against my buddy a couple days ago, and I know most of you probably don't know anything about chess, but I'm going to explain a bit, kind of as an introduction to the game, and if you do know anything about it, then enjoy. He's playing white, I'm playing black. Chess is very complicated, but I'm not going to explain too terribly much until some fireworks start happening. So at this point, this is kind of a crucial point in the game. I don't want to lose my queen because he's attacking with the pawn, and I don't have too many options for where to put it. I can't take the pawn because bishop is guarding, and so I can only go either this way or this way. Can't go here, can't go here. That's guarded by the pawn, the knight. So that leaves either that square or that square if I'm going to retreat. And retreating would have been fine, but I didn't want to retreat because I wanted to attack. So instead, I went here. Which might look a little bit odd because I'm essentially inviting him to play this, which is called a fork, which means that he's attacking the queen and the bishop, and after I move the queen somewhere, say here, he can't immediately recapture here because king will be in a pin. You can't put your king into check. But if I did move this to here, after this pawn came here, all he has to do is scoot his king over, and my bishop can't go anywhere because my queen is blocking it. So essentially, by playing queen f5, I'm inviting him to play this move, and I'm going to sack a piece for 2 pawns. So he didn't do that immediately. Instead, he pushed d5, which might look like it's threatening the knight, but it's not really because the rook is looking at his queen. And another thing to remember in chess is that there are numerical values assigned to each piece, and those values are kind of like rulers. The actual value is dependent on the situation. So I really don't even need to move this knight immediately. But the problem if I just take this pawn is that now I've opened up this file on my king, so he can make a discovered check like this, and now I have to stop the check somehow, either with the queen or move the king somewhere. But if I block it with the queen, he just takes, and if I move the king somewhere, then this bishop, which is here, is going to take my queen, so that would be giving up my queen, which I didn't want to do. So to get around that, I just played bishop e7. And this pawn still can't move because of that pin. And this is still on the cards. So he ended up playing that, which is what I wanted, and I took back with the bishop because I wanted to recapture with the queen with check. Okay, so at this point, even though he's up a piece, if you count the pieces, I have 1, 2, 3. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 minor pieces versus my 3. I am up 2 pawns, and his king is very vulnerable. So I felt that I had the advantage here. And also, not only that, but I'm about to win this pawn. I'm about to bring this rook into the game, and all of his minor pieces are undeveloped. So I took his pawn. He attacks my queen, but I have a check. He has to move to g1. And then I just took his other pawn. And he can't immediately recapture because, again, the queen is being attacked. So he played a very bad move, which is a4. But he didn't have lots of alternatives. I would say maybe a better move would have just been queen here, because now, at the least, he can have hopes of maybe coming in to defend his king side, which is very vulnerable, and I'm going to have 3 minor pieces and the rook to come in, or this way, for the attack. So he has to be mindful of that. So queen c2 was probably a better move, or even block with a minor piece and then play queen out, and then bring the piece over here, add protection to his king. So he played this bad move, and I'm ready to protect my king now, so I just castle. As you can see, I'm very well protected, and he has no pieces attacking my king whatsoever. His king is very vulnerable, and I have these 4 pieces ready to attack. And one of his main defenders, which is the queen, is now offsides. So he's trying to protect his king now. I just retreat. He plays bishop f4, which is a decent move. And I just counterattack that piece and also remove this possible threat later on. Takes. Queen takes c4. And I bring my last minor piece into the attack. So now I have all of my pieces ready to attack, and he has still not developed his last minor piece and connected his rooks, which is general opening theory that you want to do. Now when I played this move, I was expecting him to play here, and I was expecting to play here with a very large advantage, which he did. And something that my coach John pointed out to me at this point in the game was that, because I played this move, he was saying, well, why don't you just win the knight here with this move? Check, king over, win the knight. It's unprotected here, right? And I was like, well, I didn't even see that. And I didn't see that because I was only focused on my attack, and my attack actually was stronger than this move here, although it's still good to consider all moves that are winning material. So anyway, I played knight g4, which is really, really strong, and it's not easy to see at first, but you'll see in a minute why it's so strong, because I'm attacking this piece. This is going to be checkmate if he doesn't do something about it. So the most obvious, at first glance, defense is just to take the knight. I take back with check, and he blocks with the bishop. There's a problem with that, which he didn't notice, but the other possible defenses are knight here, and then if I take here, he just takes back. And I do have, the rook coming in possibly, but it's not as clear-cut as before. But there's also a problem with knight here, which I'll show you in a sec. Looking back on the position before he allowed this move, a better move instead of knight here would have been bishop to g2, because that would have stopped all of what actually happened in the game. But that would have also required him to have seen it, which he didn't. So he played this move, and I played here. Takes here is bad, knight here is bad. There's really not any defense to this position. So he took here, I took with check. Now if he just moves his king over, rook is coming in to deliver check and mate in 2. say he comes here, check. He can only block with the bishop, and then that's checkmate. So the only other alternative to that is to block with the bishop. And the problem with blocking the bishop with the bishop is this move here, which doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it works at first, but it does work. So he goes here. I say check. He can't take the knight with the bishop because of this pin. And if he takes this, if he takes my knight with his knight, now his queen is no longer protected by either of these two pieces, because now the bishop is on here and the knight is also removed, so he can't retake with the knight. Now the third possibility for him after bishop here, check, is king to f1. And the problem with king to f1 is that now my knight, which is now in f3, is going to take his knight with check, importantly with check. If it wasn't with check, this whole tactic wouldn't work. So I would be taking it with check. He has to move the... Actually, that would just be checkmate. I'm sorry. That would just be checkmate. So, but regardless, even if it wasn't checkmate, and his king had a place to move, say if this rook wasn't here, so the king can move that way. If I wasn't taking this knight with check, then the knight would still be defending the queen, and if I took, he'd be able to recapture. So we did this, and the only other alternative besides taking here or king here is king here, and that runs into the same problem as before with mate in 2. And he told me after the game that he didn't realize that, oh, I'm sorry, it actually isn't checkmate because this is now blocked by the bishop. So he didn't realize that after king f1, taking the knight with check completely removes the defense from the queen. So the best move in this position for him to do is to recapture with the knight, which he did, which leaves his queen open, and I just take the queen, and I'm up lots of material. So if you just count, if you count up the points assigned to each piece, pawns are worth 1, rooks are worth 5, queens are 9, minor pieces are 3 apiece. So he has 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I have 9 plus 10, that's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And I also have an attack coming still. This pawn is weak. So, anyway, that's the game. And this is a -7 evaluation. So, by the computer, I'm winning by 7 points, which is like 7 pawns, or a rook and 2 pawns, 7 knights of a queen, you know, stuff like that. So anyway, kind of an introduction to chess. This is not beginner chess. This is like advanced or expert level or something. But all the stuff that you learn in beginner chess does apply as you add to your knowledge base. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one.